Hi everyone, this is Margarita with City Gal Papeterie. I wanted to share with you guys some things that I created with my brand new jelly printing plate. This was so much fun. I'm going to be using this art pad as well as a really old brayer that I have, some acrylic paints, and I have a piece of cardboard to clean off my brayer. I also am using a plastic palette that I have had since like high school. So I go ahead and I pour out some paint onto my palette and I pick up the paint with the brayer. I go ahead and roll that right onto the jelly plate. I am not doing anything specific. I'm kind of keeping it random. I think I end up kind of like rolling it all over the place at one point. So that's me just kind of like covering the whole jelly plate. So I've never used a jelly plate before, so this is me just basically experimenting and playing around with it, trying to see what I can get from putting the acrylic paints on it. It comes with two plastic sheets on either side. I kept one of the sheets on it so that I could pick it up and press down with it. And as you can see, I went ahead and did, press down the jelly plate onto my paper, and it leaves this really beautiful impression of the paint. And then whatever's left over, I grab a piece of cardstock and I press it onto the jelly plate so that I can pick up whatever paint is left over, and then I can use that later on for die cutting or as a panel for card making. I clean off my jelly plate with a baby wipe. I try to get everything off as quickly as possible while the paint is still wet. I want to try to keep it as new as I can for as long as I can. And so I go ahead and add some more paint. I want to just make another background using the same colors. My intention, of course, is to use up whatever paint I have on my palette. And then I use this little foam stencil and I press it onto random places so that I'm giving it some texture. And it leaves this nice polka dotted impression onto the paint. And this will transfer onto the paper when I do press the sheet on, the jelly plate onto the paper. And so you see here, I'm actually making a second layer onto the first layer that I did initially, because like I said, I'm experimenting. I'm just trying to see how this works or what I like or what I want to do, and I'm happy with the results. And again, I'm using the same piece of cardstock to go ahead and pick up any paint that is left over on the jelly plate. Once you use the jelly plate onto the first paper that you press it onto, it pretty much uses up everything. There's not a whole lot left, or maybe because this is a new plate, pretty much all of the paint is transferred off, and then whatever is left is almost dry, so I couldn't really get too much of the paint off of the jelly plate once I used up what was on there the first time. So here I am again, just trying to grab whatever's left to create some panels. And I'll show you towards the end how I actually use these on some cards. And I'm really happy with how that looks. I think it's so cool. And then of course I go ahead and just put it right onto the paint because I don't want to waste any of it. I don't know if that's me being stingy or just frugal. But again, I like how it looks. So I'm going to go again with some more paint. This time I'm using slightly different colors. I think first I used the blue and greens, and now I'm using pink, and I think I go in with yellow as well. So now I'm experimenting with if I cover the whole thing in one color and then I add another color after. And here I don't even bother cleaning off the palette. I go ahead and I roll on some yellow paint, and then I use this honeycomb stencil to put down some marks on to the jelly plate and the paint. and then I create a second page. And so there's a couple of like spots that didn't have paint transferred onto them, so I filled in one of them. I don't think I filled in the other one, I just leave it as is. And then, as I did before, I go ahead and grab a piece of cardstock and I try to pick up any paint that is left over. I also try to grab any paint that is on the actual stencil, and I really like that, how that comes out as well. Then I leave the stencil on there, I pick up more paint and actually add paint with the stencil on the jelly plate. And then I remove the stencil, and you can see, oh, it's so nice how it leaves just the impression behind. And I grab another piece of cardstock and I do make a background for a card with this as well. So you don't only have to use this in art journaling, you can use this for a lot of different types of projects, just to create random backgrounds for cards or for die cutting shapes or other embellishments and things like that. So I have another brayer. I use that one to just press it down to make sure that I pick up as much paint as I can. And then I pick up whatever is left on the stencil again. And this is the end result of the two backgrounds that I made in my journal book, my art journal book. And then these are some of the cards that I created using those backgrounds. Let me know if you have any questions regarding anything that I used here. I will be creating a blog post that is related to this video, including additional information on supplies and things like that. I hope to see you again soon. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I hope to see you guys again in the next one. Bye.